马尼拉台湾贸易中心赖荣春主任 Dr. Jocelyn Salvador、Dr. Jose Eduardo David、Mr. Gabriel Ang， 各位产业界的先进们，大家好！感谢大家今天抽空来参加经济部国际贸易局及外贸协会共同主办的2022年菲律宾生鲜猪肉及加工品市场商机线上说明会。台湾猪肉在1990年代曾经是我国的外销主力，年产值高达新台币886亿元，占我国农业产值的20%，也是日本进口生鲜猪肉的第一大来源国，约占了44%。那自从1997年台湾爆发口蹄疫后，养猪产业的荣景也一系崩盘，猪肉出口急剧的萎缩。2019年的出口总值仅剩下约新台币3亿元，1680公吨。在各界努力下，睽违24年，我国终于在2020年的6月16号 ，OIE 宣布从口蹄疫区来除名，成为继日本后第2个非疫区的亚洲国家，也让台湾猪肉重新拿到外销市场的入场券。同年的7月，台湾第一批生鲜猪肉也顺利出口到澳门。政府也已陆续针对其他的目标市场，如新加坡、马来西亚、越南、菲律宾递交市场准入申请。2021年的出口总值提升到7亿元新台币，约3000公吨。虽然还有很大幅度的成长空间，但相信只要各界齐心，我们定能再重现台湾猪肉出口的荣景。菲律宾是全球第8大猪肉生产国，养猪产业占农业总产值的 18.28%， 超过1000亿元新台币。那它的产值仅次于水稻，是菲律宾畜禽业中最大的产业。同时，菲律宾也是第7大的猪肉进口国，进口总量超过76万公吨。前5大进口来源国依序为美国、芬兰、巴西、澳洲及加拿大。根据农委会的统计资料显示，我国在2021年出口菲律宾的总量为51公吨，排名我国第8大猪肉及加工制品的出口国。出口的品项主要是调制肉品及肉罐头，产值总共是新台币500万元。对比该国的进口量，我们可以发现，其实该国还是相当具有潜力的目标市场。那今天办理这个活动，主要是协助我国的业者来了解菲律宾的市场概况、检验及准入条件、进口法规、通路采购，以及消费者习性和拓销建议等，以提前布局掌握出口商机。今天我们邀请到台湾贸易中心驻马尼拉办事处的赖荣春主任，菲律宾国家肉品检验所的 Dr. Jocelyn Salvador， 以及菲律宾国家动物检疫局的 Dr. Jose Eduardo David， 以及当地的肉品进口业者 First Akin Holding Corporation 来为我们分享第一手资讯。相信今天能够带给大家满满的收获。那最后祝福大家今天的说明会有大丰收，谢谢大家。
各位线上的先进及来宾，大家好，我是马尼拉台湾贸易中心主任赖荣春，很高兴有这样的机会介绍菲律宾生鲜猪肉加工产品的概况，以及市场拓销的建议。菲律宾是由7000多个大小不等的岛屿所组成，人口总数约1亿900万。在东协国家中仅次于印尼。根据统计，2020年本地人均所得约$3300，其中包含3000万的人所得超过这个数字。在疫情之前呢，每年经济成长以6% 的速率增加。那如果扣除南部明达纳俄因信奉伊斯兰教不吃猪肉的人，菲律宾的猪肉市场拥有近1亿的消费人口数，值得期待。 本地猪肉的产值全盛时期曾经达到40亿美金的规模，养殖猪只的数目超过1200万，是畜牧业的大宗。以一级产业，也就是农林渔牧产业，其产值呢仅次于水稻，约占该产业总产值的1/5，而猪肉及其制品也占本地肉品消费总量的60%左右，对于本地肉品的供应占有极其重要的地位。那么根据我们收集到的资料，菲国的猪肉产量全球排名前10，是猪肉生产及消费的重要市场。不过如果进一步来分析，本地的猪只有近2/3是由小农户所饲养的，农场猪只的头数不多，分散在全国各地，饲养的方式跟环境也比较传统，不具备规模经济的优势。大概在3年前，本地的养猪产业也遭受到非洲猪瘟的侵袭，猪只的数量锐减到目前约700万头左右，因此菲律宾猪肉市场近年一直处于供不应求的状态，反映在零售市场的价格上，平均单价从以前每公斤约180块披索，一路窜升到目前每公斤超过300块披索以上，涨幅高达70%。面对这样的挑战，本地的进口商也分别从美国、澳洲、比利时、巴西、加拿大、丹麦等地引进猪肉及相关制品，以填补生产不足的缺口。除了扩大肉品进口，如何加快本地猪只数量的恢复，也成一门显学。有不少嗅觉敏锐的业者在这方面下足了功夫，期待在更短的时间生产出更多的肉品，来满足消费者的需要。菲律宾的肉品呢，另外一个挑战是跟生鲜食材的运送、储藏有关。本地大小岛屿众多，连接的道路、桥梁等基础设施不足，加上气候与台湾南部类似，常年高温潮湿，肉品的保鲜不容易，生鲜食材必须透过冷藏运输，搭配零售点位的冷柜设备等，才能保障品质的要求。那么在简单介绍过菲律宾的猪肉及制品市场之后，接下来的时间，我将个人所观察到几个菲律宾人对猪肉饮食的喜好跟大家分享，方便更了解本地市场的机会。Adobo 是本地相当受欢迎的一种肉品料理方式，猪肉跟鸡肉是常用的食材。那么肉品切块之后呢，加上酱油、乌醋以及蒜末等香料，经过烹煮，一道美味可口的佳肴就可以上桌了。各位请看，这样的猪肉料理是不是跟我们在台湾经常食用的卤肉、控肉很接近呢？Lechon 也就是菲律宾的烤乳猪，它也是本地的美食。那么整只小猪在去除内脏之后，在肚子里面塞满香料，均匀涂抹酱汁，腌制半个小时之后，再将整只猪架到炭火上烧烤几个小时，直到猪身红透、猪皮酥脆为止。烤乳猪的过程十分搞刚，酥脆的猪皮加上香气四溢的猪肉，想到呢就令人食指大动。准备lechon时，本地人也不会将猪的内脏丢弃，洗净之后分切成块，加入蒜头、辣椒以及猪血等一起烹煮。这道菜肴在菲律宾称为 dinuguan， 看起来虽然是乌漆抹黑的，不过据说非常下饭。宴席中也常常跟lechon一起出现。 这样的菜肴会不会让你想到我们的牛杂汤呢？除此之外，菲律宾各地还发展出许多以猪肉为主的美味料理，包括猪肉卷、烧肉、炭烤乐排等等。这都说明菲律宾人对猪肉饮食的喜好跟我们是不相上下的。为了协助国内业者超前部署，迎接非国开放台湾猪肉及制品进口的商机，外贸协会跟国际贸易局办理2022年菲律宾生鲜猪肉及加工品市场商机线上说明会，邀请本地肉品卫生管理机关以及通路商代表介绍说明非国生鲜猪肉及其制品的规范及申请流程、检疫条件及验证需要，以及本地猪肉食品消费趋势、通路介绍及采购标准等课题。马尼拉台湾贸易中心长期推动与非国的经贸交流业务，协助国内供应商及本地进口商用户媒合商机。欢迎各位持续支持本中心所办理的各项业务。最后在此敬祝大家身体健康、平安喜乐，业务蒸蒸日上。再会。
Good day, we are from the Department of Agriculture, National Meat Inspection Service, and today we'll be discussing to you the measures and regulations to export meat into the Philippines. For this presentation, we'll be discussing first to you the legal basis and an overview, and then we'll discuss the inspection procedures that is being conducted pre-border, border, and post-border of the Philippines. And then lastly, we'll be discussing to you the violations and penalties that we imposed for imported meat or meat importation. So to discuss to you an overview of the legal basis, the National Meat Inspection Service was created under Republic Act 9296 as amended by RA 10536, and we are a specialized regulatory service attached to the Department of Agriculture. The NMIS is the sole national controlling authorities, particularly on matters on meat inspection and meat hygiene. On this slide, we are presenting to you the following regulations that govern the export of meat into the Philippines. This is covered by two Republic Acts, the 9296 and the RA 10611, which is our Food Safety Act. We also have Department of Agriculture Administrative Orders that covers the regulations or procedures for the pre-border measures, as well as procedures when the meat arrives inside the country. There are two DA regulatory agencies that are covering the inspection and the issuance of import clearances for imported meat. So first, the Bureau of Animal Industry is the one that is stationed at our port and does the quarantine inspection system. Particularly, the Bureau of Animal Industry is the one that issues the permit or the commodity clearances. The National Meat Inspection Service, having authority over meat inspection, conducts the inspection of the imported meat at the cold storage warehouses. As an overview of the meat importation process, the inspection of imported meat involves the pre-border, border, and post-border inspection. Only DA-accredited foreign meat establishments and countries are allowed to export meat into the Philippines, and only NMIS licensed meat importers are eligible to apply for a BAI, SPS, or sanitary phytosanitary import clearance for each shipment. Upon arrival of the shipment, at the port, it is inspected by the BAI Veterinary Quarantine Services, and at the cold storage warehouses, this will be inspected by the NMIS plant officers. Slide shows the list of requirements and procedures for the applications for system accreditation of exporting countries or those individual foreign meat establishments that are interested to export meat into the Philippines. So those who are interested to export meat into the Philippines must first apply for accreditation to the Department of Agriculture Secretary. They should be endorsed by the government agency of their country, particularly submitting and endorsing the Annex A and Annex B, which are the documentary requirements, which contains the information on the animal health and the information on the foreign meat establishment. Once submitted, a pre-inspection committee reviews all applications and prioritizes the applications to be inspected. An on-site inspection and validation will be done, or a DA inspection mission will be done by inspectors coming from both the BAI and the NMIS. They will be evaluating both the animal health and food safety system of the applying country. Once the DA inspection mission is finished, a report is then presented to the DA accreditation review body, who then recommends the issuance or non-issuance of the certificate of accreditation by the secretary. Please do note that the certificate of accreditation contains the import conditions that will be required from the exporting country. A list of the accredited foreign meat establishments is regularly posted at the DA, BAI, and MIS websites. These are the countries and foreign meat establishments which pass the import risk analysis and food safety standards and are allowed to export meat into the country. So the DA issues the list of commodities that is allowed to be imported into the country, having also countries that only have specific meat and specific meat establishment that is allowed to be exported, such as the case in India. For the occurrences of animal diseases or zoonotic diseases from the exporting country, the DA, particularly the BAI, issues the temporary ban to ensure food safety and animal health security. The list of temporary bans is also updated regularly at the DA website. This slide, we're showing to you the list of ASEAN Harmonized Tariff Nomenclature codes, showing the HS codes or HTN codes for the meat that is allowed to be exported in the countries. So these are under chapters 2 and chapters 5. For those that are allowed to export into the country, the DA NMI's licensed meat importers are the only ones that are eligible to import the meat into the country. And once they are licensed, they are now allowed to apply for a BAI SPSIC for each shipment. As food business operators, we emphasize the responsibility in ensuring that imported meat must comply with the laws and control systems to reduce risk for our consumers. On this part, we'll be discussing to you the different inspection procedures. So first, the NMIS licensed importers applies for the SPSIC through our DA trade system. Then the BAI reviews this and approves it. Please do take note that the SPSICs for imported meat have been temporarily extended from 60 days to 90 days. Once the shipment arrives at the Philippine port, this undergoes the Bureau of Customs clearances, and once it's cleared by BOC, the broker lodges an electronic request for inspection again through our DA trade system, and then our veterinary quarantine officers conducts the inspection at the DEA or the designated examination area at the port. Once it's cleared, our initial review of the documents is done at the DEA. Our BAI VQO tags the inspection and releases the shipment to the cold storage warehouse. Upon its release at the port and its arrival at the cold storage warehouse, the NMIS plant officers conducts its inspection, verifies the documents, checks the integrity of the seal, and does the inspection during unloading. The inspection is completed once the inspection report or EVQ milk is tagged is inspected by the DA trade system. Do please note that the importer needs to coordinate the arrival of the container vans or the shipments with our NMIS plant officers And the list of documentary requirements includes the SPSIC, Vet Health Certificate, the Bill of Lading, the packing list, commercial invoice, and also the inspection fees that are being paid at the port area. We always remind our brokers and importers that the correct import documents need to be uploaded in the DA trade system. This is the list of the minimum labeling requirements we request or require for imported meat. This is under DAAO number 26, series of 2005. This contains the list contains that the packaging or the label for the imported meat must contain a reference to the exporting meat establishment, its address, a country of origin or lot identification, a product description, the net quantity, the date of manufacturing and packaging, the date of minimum durability or expiration date, and a handling and storage instruction. For the last part of the presentation, discussing to you the violations and penalties on meat importation. For the accredited country, suspension and cancellation may be done if the accredited country violates any relevant provision of our laws or the DA issuances that pose risk to human, animal, and plant health in the Philippines. The accredited country or FME fails to meet the audit requirements during the DA inspection mission, or if there are emergency situations in the exporting country that may pose to both human and animal health. So this pertains to the temporary bans that are being issued. Or if there will be the rejection of consignments upon arrival due to evidence of serious food safety or public health issues in the exporting country. Other grounds for the suspension or cancellation of accreditation if there are repeated occasions of serious misrepresentations or consumer fraud, evidence of serious failure in the inspection and control system of the exporting country or foreign establishment, repeated evidence or failure of correcting the nature of the evidence of repeated failures of correctable natures, such as labeling errors, misrepresentation of documents, or there is a failure or lack of interest on the part of the national competent authority to comply with the commitments with the DA Department of Agriculture. So that's it for our presentation. Thank you very much for your kind attention.
Pleasant day to everyone. I'll be presenting to you the DA Philippines Pork Importation Procedure for Meat and Meat Products. The spread of animal diseases and foodborne diseases among countries is a consequence of the increased global intercountry trade of livestock and poultry and thereby products. As the government's response to protect its borders and territories from the entry and spread of animal diseases that may be introduced to the importation of contaminated and adulterated meat and meat products, which consequently endanger public safety and health, the Department of Agriculture recognizes and adopts international standards and guidelines prescribed by the international organizations such as the OIE and the Codex Alimentarius Commission. The Department of Agriculture Administrative Order Number 16, Series of 26/2006, entitled Pre-Border Measures for the Export of Meat and Meat Products to the Philippines, was implemented to strengthen our borders and prevent the entry of transboundary animal diseases. The spread of animal diseases and foodborne diseases among countries is a consequence of the increased global and intercountry trade of livestock and poultry and thereby products. As the government's response to protect its borders and territories from the entry and spread of animal diseases that may be introduced to the importation of contaminated and adulterated meat and meat products, which consequently endanger public safety and health, the Department of Agriculture recognizes and adopts international standards and guidelines prescribed by the international organizations such as the OIE and the Codex Alimentarius Commission. The Department of Agriculture Administrative Order Number 16, Series of 2006, entitled Pre-Border Measures for the Export of Meat and Meat Products to the Philippines, was implemented to strengthen our borders and prevent the entry of transboundary animal diseases that may affect our multi-million livestock and poultry industry. There are several steps in the importation of fresh and frozen products into the Philippines. Step 1. Before any market access or export of meat and meat products into the Philippines, the exporting country shall undergo the accreditation process. An on-site mission shall be conducted to check and validate the exporting country's animal health system. The Accreditation Review Body, or ARB, is tasked to review the inspection report and will provide recommendations on the application for the accreditation. If found satisfactory, the DA shall issue certificate of accreditation. Step 2. The importer must apply for an accreditation as well. The importing companies must apply a certificate of accreditation as meat importer to the National Meat Inspection Service, or NMIS, before they will be allowed to import any meat commodity. An inspection will be performed by the NMIS to evaluate and verify the technical and documentary requirements to ensure compliance to regulatory requirements. The validity period of the NMIS Certificate of Accreditation as meat importer is 1 year. Number 3, the Bureau of Animal Industry is the issuing body for the Sanitary and Phytosanitary Import Clearance, or SPSIC. Only countries which have been accredited by the Philippines shall be allowed to export meat commodities. Number 4, upon arrival of the cargo shipment, the importer shall apply for electronic request for inspection through the DA trade system. After the RFI has been scheduled, the veterinary quality inspector will perform actual inspection of the cargo shipment. And lastly, once the cargo is cleared, the BAI or BAI will tag the SPSIC as used in the DA trade system. The DA trade system will send a signal to NMIS on all shipments which have been cleared in the ports of entry. This is the detailed procedure on the accreditation of foreign meat establishments. Number 1, submission of application documents. A letter of intent and application is addressed to the Secretary of Agriculture. The accreditation questionnaire shall be provided as well as other supporting documents by the applying country. The application shall be submitted to the National Competent Authority. Number 2, preliminary evaluation application documents. The documents shall be reviewed by the DA, and this is completed within 6 months, provided that the requirements are met. Additional requirements may be required by the DA. Number 3, notification of results of preliminary evaluation. The applicant is classified as qualified for individual foreign establishment accreditation. Number 4, coordination with the DA inspection mission, or DAIM, wherein qualified participants or the auditors propose an itinerary for on-site inspection mission, or DAIM. Arrangements and itinerary of the inspection team shall be discussed in this manner. Number 5, on-site inspection and validation. This is the actual inspection done by the inspection team in the requesting country. Number 6, DAIM report submission. The inspection team will submit the DAIM report to the Accreditation Review Body Committee, or ARB, 30 days after the completion of the risk analysis and on-site validation. Upon satisfactory submission of the requirements, the ARB recommends accreditation of the country. Number 7 is the issuance of Certificate of Foreign Meat Establishment Accreditation. In this slide, I will be discussing the issuance of Sanitary and Phytosanitary Import Clearance, or SPSIC, for pork, whether frozen or fresh. This is the step-by-step procedure in the filing and issuance of the SPSIC. Once the importer is accredited by the NMIS, or National Meat Inspection Service, as meat importer, he or she can now register with the Intercommerce Network Solutions. The Intercommerce or INS is a web-based customs declaration system that serves as a service provider for the issuance of SPS ICs. Also, the list of importables must be applied to Intercommerce. This will be approved by the NBQSD or the National Veterinary Quarantine Service Division. Once approved, the importer can now proceed with the application. The evaluation of SPSIC application has different levels. In the first level evaluation, the reviewers who are agriculturists will basically check the documentary requirements submitted in the Intercommerce. They will also check if the source facility or country is accredited in the Philippines. Number 2, if satisfactory, the reviewers will endorse the application to the chief of the NBQSD for further review. If there will be comments or findings on the application, the NBQSD chief will return the application. And lastly, if the application is acceptable by the NBQSD chief, the application will then be endorsed to the BAI Assistant Director for Regulations and Disease Control for its approval. In this slide, I will present the procedure followed upon arrival of commodities. Upon arrival of the shipment in the Philippines, the documents accompanying the shipment will be checked and verified at the port of entry. These documents include the valid SPS IC, the International Veterinary Certificate issued by the Veterinary Competent Authority of the exporting country, and the bill of lading. Number 2, if there are SPS-related violations, the veterinary quarantine station at the port of entry issues a notice of violation addressed to the BAI director, copy furnished the Bureau of Customs and importers authorized representative. Number 3, otherwise, if there are no problems, the SPS IC will be tagged as used. The BOC or Bureau of Customs entry is stamped with inspected and pass marks. Number 4, the final border inspection will be done at the second border, which is the cold storage warehouse, where in stripping and inspection of the meat products will be done by the NMIS plant officer. What are the roles of BAI in the implementation of the regulations to pork import? First is the issuance of the SPSIC or Sanitary and Phytosanitary Import Clearance. The National Veterinary Quarantine Service Division of the BAI thoroughly evaluates the documentary requirements prior to the issuance of the SPSIC. The application will be rejected if it lacks supporting documents, such as the license to import issued by the NMIS, or if the commodities are sourced from non-accredited countries and territories with imposed embargoes. Another crucial role of the BAI is through the issuance of local shipping permit, or LSP. These documents is used by the NBQSD for the movement of pork within the country. The LSP or local shipping permit ensures that the important pork products circulating in the Philippines were inspected and cleared in the cold storage warehouses. Veterinary quarantine officers and inspectors assigned in all regions ensure that all movement of animal commodities are accompanied within the LSP.
Philippine pork industry. Just a little background. The Philippines' pork imports in 2021 more than doubled to 554,697 metric tons from the 256,017 metric tons in 2020. And this is because of the lowered pork tariffs and the expanded minimum access volume, which is 200,000 metric tons. Spain was the country's top supplier of pork and followed by US and Canada. The Department of Agriculture submitted the revised pork import tariffs to the National Economic Development Authority Board, which turn made the final recommendation to the Office of the President. And the President signed Executive Order 134 to repeal the Executive Order 128 and implement the revised lower tariffs. These are the details of the minimum access volume allocation. These are the arrival of imported pork from January to October 2020. You can see that it's more than double January to the number in October. And this is the arrival of pork per meat format from January to October. You can see that the offals are the most imported part of the pork. And this is the yearly arrival of pork from 2015 to 2020. You can see that it has declined compared to the past years. And this is the distribution of imported pork per meat format January to October 2020. So the biggest is of course the offals, and followed by pork cuts, bellies, fats, and the rind skin. So after this little background of the pork industry, we have talked to one of the biggest importers of pork in the Philippines, First Atkins Import-Export, and they will explain their experiences regarding the importation of pork and what their company does in the imports and the challenges of importing pork. You may watch closely Mr. Gabriel Ang for this portion.
Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I am honored to be part of this Taiwan trade events, Pork Products Market Business Opportunity Briefing. It is an honor and satisfaction for me to address to all of you and inform you about what is our company, Atkins Import and Export Resources Inc., what it has achieved in this industry. We are one of the leaders in the distribution of imported frozen pork, poultry, beef products in the Philippines. We cater to wholesaler, traders, wet market, supermarket. We source our products from US, Canada, Europe, Australia, New Zealand, and South America, among others. I will share with you the action and initiative we have embarked and will give you the glimpse of the company prospect and the future plan. 2020 has been a year of far-reaching changes, yet necessary decisions aimed at the transformation of the company. We have laid the foundation for the future of orderly, sustainable, and of profitable growth. We have accordingly undertaken an ambitious range of structure, action, and decision that are transforming most of Atkins Group companies and businesses, particularly on the operational and a financial dimension. At the start of 2020, our company was facing a business uncertainties, financial setbacks as a result of COVID-19 pandemic. We faced challenges such as supply chain disruption, rising shipping, freight costs, and deteriorating economic activities. As a CEO, my role was to describe those challenges and difficulties to our stakeholders and to the banking community with utmost clarity and transparency. However, I wanted to convey with the same clarity and conviction that we're entirely confident and certain about the path we have to follow for the company to successfully overcome those challenges. We have started projecting the needs of an additional supply due to ever-increasing gap between the local and the demands for the pork product. For your information, the pork industry in the Philippines is a 255 billion peso business in which we are currently holding 7% of the market share. With this move, we were able to maximize our growth potential for the year 2022. Our company also undertook pricing and cost-cutting initiative of great magnitude to improve our competitiveness. Large strides were taken in containing structural costs and overheads, which enabled us to improve our margin. To continue to make progress in reducing direct costs and overhead by improving our procurement processes, and in general, raising awareness to the importance of cost management. We also faced a lot of issues along the way. The most notable is the delay in the arrival of goods due to shipping line issues. Only 60% arrived, which caused us major supply disruption in the market. Considering all these factors, our company adjusted to its buying position. Instead of using 1 to 2 months order lead time, we have advanced our order for another month. In this anticipation, we're able to maximize the opportunity to earn, at the same time help the government, ensuring the food security in the country. We are grateful for the support of the government agencies, such as the Department of Trade and Industry, Department of Agriculture, the National Meat Inspection Services, the local government units, because they understand that helping us will result in food security that will help stabilize the inflation rate in the country. Expect us to continue our support to the government initiative that will aim to sell affordable quality meat to every Filipino. In search of our operational excellence, to which we aspire, we have embarked on the implementation of a new warehouse management system and a new enterprise resource planning, or the ERP, specially designed for our industry. Our aim is to achieve a more focused and orderly management of operation to maximize the operational efficiency. We are still a lot of works ahead to evolve towards a more competitive mix, introducing reindustrialization, outsourcing, automation labor where possible. Finally, the success of this initiative relies on the cultural changes. The company, including ourselves, the management, and all the people, must complete successfully the toughest transformation of all: our behaviors, the processes, the priorities, and the objectives. We are an organization employing 700 strong forces. It is a priority to advance on all fronts in an evolution of the company's culture, to focus on the values that are fundamental to our success. A culture, we are focused on our work on raising returns for stakeholders, and most especially, the culture of integrity, rigor, and accountability to our customers. By way of conclusion, in 2021 and over the first quarter of this year, 2022, we have implemented a considerable numbers of initiatives, launched many transformation projects. We expand our cold storage activities in Naik, Cavite with a total capacity of 14,000 metric ton capacity, the biggest in Southern Luzon, which we hope to operate in the third quarter of 2022. As part of a long-term goal, we are expanding more cold storages operation and meat distribution in Cebu, and Cagayan de Oro, and Davao in the coming years to further address the food security of the country. However, there are still a lot of things to do. There are major challenges ahead. Thus, we must continue to take difficult decisions in a highly uncertain environment. But we have successfully reversed the adverse trend, and that the future lies ahead before us is more promising one, because we have laid down a strong foundation for a profitable future. We have overcome the difficulties, and it shows that the company is on the right track. market agrees so. In relative terms, Atkins has performed strongly with respect to the meat industry as a whole. And I believe we now have Atkins Group that is more robust and better organized. We can now come forward with a financially strong and a better balanced company with an improved governance, control and risk management, a tighter focus on priorities, strategic strength, and a closer alignment what our stakeholder wants. To wrap it all, we're focused and aiming to have our business listed in the Philippine Stock Exchange through initial public offering within 3 years' time. I would like to end my speech by giving thanks to the management team and all the Atkins Group employees with all the extra effort and performance, and most especially to the financial institution and the government agencies for their continued trust and support, and for the Taiwan Trade Center for giving me the opportunity to introduce my company and share my experience. Looking forward to start partnership with Taiwan. 谢谢你们，万事如意 and have a good day. Thank you.